Hello everyone, I'm Manzamir. So today I'll be trying to name all 197 flags of the world. Let's see, let's begin. Okay, South Africa, that is Sierra Leone. Sierra Leone. There we go. Poland, Qatar, Japan. That is Sudan. No, that is Palestine. Not Sudan, Palestine. Azerbaijan. Okay, pretty easy. Ukraine, that is Micronesia, Laos, Eswatini, nice, that is Iceland, Bolivia, Spain, India, Bangladesh, Brazil, Armenia, that is Oman, that is of course the United Kingdom or the UK, that is the flag of Cyprus. Okay, Cambodia, that is Malawi, a country in Africa. That's Kosovo in Europe. That is the Netherlands. Alright, Finland, Ecuador, Ecuador. It's a C, not a Q. Ecuador, Zambia. Let's see how quick I can do it too. I'll try to do it as fast as possible. Equatorial Guinea, Guinea. That is Peru. Nice, Singapore. Pretty decent. That is Kyrgyzstan. Probably the hardest one to spell, but I just learned the spelling. That's Yemen. Okay, Belarus. That is Papua New Guinea in Oceania. Turkmenistan. That's Libya. Saint Lucia. Antigua and Barbuda. I think I have to write both of them. Barbuda. That's it. That is North Macedonia. Macedonia. I'm bad at spellings. Okay, Colombia. That is Nauru. Germany. I think that is the Central African Republic. CAR. Nice. China. Barbados, of course. That is Madagascar. That's Tajikistan. Tajikistan. What is the spelling? Oh, I think there's an I there. Alright, Canada. That is Comoros. Yes, Comoros. Fiji. Serbia. That is Suriname. Okay, Chile. Nice. That is UAE. Kenya. Saint Vincent and the Grenadines. Saint Vincent. Oh, just Saint Vincent, I guess. That is Republic of the Congo. Maybe Congo would have worked too. Okay, Samoa, Guatemala, Senegal. That's either Chad or Romania. Their flags are literally the same. That is Chad indeed. Denmark. Okay, that is Seychelles. Alright, a bit tricky of spelling, but it's fine. El Salvador, Turkey, Dominica. That is Tanzania. I almost thought it was Namibia, but no, it's Tanzania. There's of course Latvia. Okay, Rwanda. That is France, one of the most basic ones. Sudan, okay. Mongolia, another easy one. Uruguay. Not Uruguay. Uruguay in South Africa. No, in South America, not South Africa. It's Austria, Iraq, Tunisia, Philippines. How do you spell Philippines? How do you spell Philippines? I have no idea how to spell Philippines. Not like that. Philippines, Philippines. Let's just throw it at the wall until it sticks. Philippines. Oh, double P. Oh, okay. That is Niger. Okay, Italy. Israel. Algeria. The biggest country in Africa. That's Myanmar. That's Guyana. Guyana. Burundi. Albania. Okay. Saudi Arabia. That is Cameroon. Vanuatu. Nicaragua. Nicaragua. Okay. Ethiopia. That is Taiwan, which is not officially recognized as a country, like in the United Nations, but okay. Sure. That is the Dominican Republic. Okay, Namibia. Nice. Montenegro. Alright. Brunei. Vietnam. Ghana. And Mexico. That is 100 out of 197. Done. A pretty good pace. That is Afghanistan. Afghanistan. Wait, we already did Sierra Leone. That is Luxembourg. VOURG, yes. Lesotho. Andorra. That is New Zealand. Okay. Solomon Islands. Going pretty well so far. That is Somalia. Panama. Not Panama, but Panama. Okay, that is Eritrea, the worst country according to democracy, I guess. According to the United Nations, at least. Mauritania. Burkina Faso. That is Sweden. Romania, because we already did Chad. I almost thought it was Chad, but no. Sri Lanka, that was Iran before that, or Iran, I guess. Iran. Bahamas. Malaysia, I don't know why people say Iran. I ran away. Pretty bad joke, but okay. Slovenia. Monaco. Or that is Indonesia. Their flags are literally the same except for the aspect ratio. There is the US, USA, USA sure. Lithuania. Croatia. Kuwait. So bad at spelling. Switzerland. That is, I think that is Togo. Yes. Nice. South Korea. That's San Marino. San Marino is actually in Italy. It's an independent country. That was Gabon. That is Djibouti. Venezuela. That is Nauru. No, that is not Nauru. That is the Marshall Islands. Islands. There we go. Angola. DRC. I think that is Trinidad and Tobago. Not Trinidad. Trinidad and Tobago. No. Oh, Saint Kitts and Nevis. What am I doing? That is Saint Kitts and Nevis. Okay. There we go. I don't know how I messed that up. Okay, Belize, Syria, Liberia. Smooth sailing. Alright, Bhutan, Jamaica. Oh, that is actually harder to spell than Kyrgyzstan. How do you spell Liechtenstein? Okay. Oh wow, first try. No way, first try. Okay. That was lucky. Slovakia, Belgium. Pretty easy one so far. Benin. Okay, there is Malta. Kazakhstan. Nepal. Not Nepal, but Nepal. That is Haiti. Tonga. That is not Tonga apparently. Tonga, not Tongo. Why am I saying Tongo? It is Tonga. This is Kiribati. Pronounce it Kiribati, but you write Kiribati. This is Palau. Mauritius. Mauritius, nice. Ireland, Tuvalu. Pretty nice. That is Botswana. Botswana, there we go. Trinidad and Tobago, there we go. Finally, Trinidad and Tobago. Nigeria. That is Guinea-Bissau. Not Guinea-Bissau. Guinea-Bissau. Bulgaria. Estonia. Morocco. That is Zimbabwe. Guinea. Georgia. Georgia. That is Lebanon. One of the best flags in the world, by the way. Can we just take a second to appreciate that Christmas tree? That is Honduras. Cape Verde. Hungary. Bahrain. There we go. Maldives. Sao Tome and Principe. And Principe. Bosnia and Herzegovina. Bosnia and Herzegovina. Alright. Uzbekistan. That is the Vatican City. The smallest country in the world. The Gambia. Alright, Jordan. Norway. Greece. That is Czechia or Czech Republic. Another like Czechia. There we go. A decently hard country to spell, but decent. That is Timor-Leste or East Timor. Paraguay. That is Cuba. Portugal. We are almost there. We are like really close. That is the Ivory Coast. Russia. Let me just speed up real quick. Okay, lock it. Monaco. Mali. Mozambique. Uganda. Thailand. Grenada. South Sudan. Not Moldova, but Moldova. Okay, the final two. Costa Rica, and the final one is Argentina. There we go, 100% score. 5 minutes and 16 seconds remaining. So like it starts off at 18 minutes. That was a pretty solid like 12 and a half minutes. Pretty decent.